Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about how you can become a crypto millionaire, or is it even possible? With the recent run up of the Shiba coin, a lot of people have been trying to take their coins and trying to multiply it into millions overnight. And so I just want to give some insight and kind of lay to rest the question, can you become a millionaire with crypto or can you not? Is it realistic or isn't it? Well, the short answer, it is realistic. However, there are a few factors I want to talk about that will allow you to be able to do that if that is your desire. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor and this is not a financial advice. It's just my own perspective. So take it with a grain of salt and please do your own research. Hi, so if you're new here, I'm Joseph and I have been investing since 2006 and I have over 15 years of experience in business. And on this channel, I like to talk about money. I like to talk about how you can become successful financially, whether you have money or maybe don't have a whole lot of money. Either way, you can still succeed. And that's what I like to talk about on this channel in a way that people can understand. So if you're interested in the content, the entertainment, or the knowledge, feel free to stick around, check out the channel, and I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the family. But all right, guys, now in a second, we're going to go to the computer and I'm going to give you some examples so you can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about. But there are two factors that will help you and be able to make money in crypto. Now, to answer the question, can you become wealthy? Can you really become a millionaire from investing in digital currency? And the short answer is yes, you can. But in the same instance, you also can lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. So understand that knowledge is key with anything that you're doing when it comes to investing. Don't just jump in blindly, but learn and gain some knowledge for yourself so you can kind of understand what's going on. However, the way that most people are trying to go about becoming rich in crypto or making a lot of money in crypto, it is indeed the wrong way to do it. Because see, there's two things that you have to think about when you're talking about, can you make a lot of money in crypto? One is your timing. Have you invested in a timely fashion when there was no hype? And that's where a lot of people make a mistake, because most cases when there's no hype around anything, people aren't paying attention. And normally that's the best time to, I guess you can say, get in early to make your investments. And like I said, I'm going to show you some examples. The other way is if you have a whole lot of money, thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions to dump in. So now if you're able to do that, it doesn't matter if it is during the hype moment and things are running up, or if it's earlier on, because of the volume of income that you, or money that you can put within, and it buys up a certain amount of tokens. That volume, when things move up, it has a significant jump. One that actually makes sense versus what most people are trying to do now is when something becomes popular or the hype is around it, they'll try to put a couple dollars in and they'll make a few pennies because they got in at the time where everything was running up. They didn't have a lot of money. So let me just give you an example of what I'm talking about so we can go see exactly how that thing works. So here we're on CoinMarketCap. So here you can see all of the cryptocurrencies. You can see Bitcoin is still at the top. Their market cap is huge, and it goes down in order. So what everyone has been talking about now has been Shiba. And you can see Shiba's here, popped all the way up, pretty high, which is, pretty cool. It's cool to see how much it's grown so much. And, some people have made money on it. Myself, I did invest in Shiba a minute ago. So I did get a significant, upswing with that. But let me show you where you guys are missing out. And I'm going to start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, here we go. We'll look at the chart. Now, here is Bitcoin's chart. We're going to go back a year ago. Now, you go back a year, most of you weren't paying attention to it back then like that because it had a little run up before then. And a lot of times what happens is people don't pay attention when it's not popular. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to 2020, like right at the beginning of 2020. Extremely low. And what a lot of people weren't doing, because in that period of time, it wasn't really doing a whole lot, because if we go back some years, you'll see where people were talking about it because it had that huge spike, right here. So people were talking about it all back then. But once that spike died down, look at all this time. And people weren't putting a lot of money into it. Or not the average person, they weren't paying attention to it as much. So let's just go back to how close we are now. I'll use the example and a few others. But during this time where you see these things, like people aren't paying attention. They're just not paying attention at all during this time. Then all of a sudden, spikes up, everybody's talking about it. It comes back down, people stop talking about it. Spikes back up again, right? That's my spike noise. So it goes up again, and then people are, now talking about it. And this is where a lot of people get involved. You can see the volume even increase. You can see the difference in the volume, and you can see how much it increases. See, people are really starting to talk about it then, but when it goes down, people aren't talking about it as much, and then goes up again. And you can find that happening on quite many of these coins. So let's go and let's look at Dogecoin, since that had a crazy run, had everybody and their mama talking about Dogecoin. You can see it's been in the red a lot, right? Go back a year. A year ago, this is how much Dogecoin was. It was less than a penny. I do not know how to pronounce this price at less than a penny, but it's basically a fraction of a penny. And so here you see, people aren't paying attention to it as much. But once it gets a little pop, a little spike, which you just seen that with Shiba, a little pop, everybody's talking about it. But this whole time right here is where the opportunity is. The opportunity, now granted, there's always an opportunity, because let's just have a disclaimer. Cryptocurrency, if it's really going to be something, we have not seen the high prices of all these cryptos. They're all going to go up even more. But this is where people are missing the point. They're sleeping on these things because there's no hype around it and no one's talking about it. All right. So look at what happens even as we get closer to now. So it goes up and everybody's like, yeah. They're hyping it up, then bam, goes up again, spikes all the way up to like 70 something cents as it's high. And then it comes down, right? So recently it's been down, and with it being down, a lot of people hadn't been thinking about it. They haven't been talking about it. It's not what didn't have the hype. And these are the moments where people are missing the opportunity, so that they could do very, very well with crypto. So don't move with the emotions as things get hype and then they die down. You got to find ways to just be consistent. So if you're investing in it and you're convicted about investing in it and you really want to be successful, you can't be on an emotional roller coaster and like, oh, let me get in now because everybody's talking about it. Goes up again and it's still kind of low. So this is where people are missing it. So let's go look at Shiba. Most of you, or some of you, probably didn't even hear or knew about Shiba a year ago. But we go back a year ago. I mean, it's even, look at this, guys. Look at this price. So let's just look at it. If you had put $10 in this, that would, at this price, that would give you, how many zeros is it? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 7 zeros. So that's about what, like 100 million or something like that? Like 100 million or something like that? I believe so. Like 100 million or 1 billion, one or the other. But that's how much you would have. You'd have a whole lot. And this is where people made a lot of money, because they were getting in it when it was around here. And that's what I mean by you're missing, those times because you're not paying attention, or, it just isn't on your radar. So imagine if you had put $100 into something like this during this time because you believed in it, etc., yada, yada, yada. And then you had these spikes that happen. Then you would see a significant amount of money. You would see the tunes of 20, 100, maybe $1 million. You would see a lot of money come through because you decided to invest when it wasn't popular. And that's where people are missing it. They're not investing unless it's something popular and everybody's talking about it. That's why you have to do your research and you have to pay attention to what's happening with these things. All right, so this is just an example. So when things aren't being talked about, things are low, that doesn't mean you taper away from your knowledge or learning or investing or researching what you're looking for. But that's the difference between you and the difference between someone who's made a lot of money in cryptocurrency is while everyone isn't talking about it, they are, being as consistent as possible. Yes, you do have some people who are making money and by jumping in when the hype is around. But believe me and you, they are putting in a lot of money to get a large return like that when it's like that. Okay. So let me show you a few other things just so to kind of further bring along the point. So let's look at Shiba, for example, right here. If you invested $1,000, all right? If you invested $1,000 on January 31st of this year in 2021, this is how many coins you would have, all right? And then you would see, and this is how much money that $1,000 would bring over $285,000 if you had put $1,000 in on January just this year, when nobody was really talking about it, when nobody was really paying attention. This is how you make those things happen, by investing during that time. Doesn't mean it's the only time, but that's the prime time why you see some people being able to make a lot of money, or some of the stories that you're hearing is because they were doing these types of things while everybody was sleeping or chasing something else. I'll show you another example. All right, so let's look at what's happened in crypto. Here's your year-to-date return on just percentages. Look at these percentages, over a year, year-to-date at the time of this particular document being created. Look at how crazy. These are good returns. These are extremely high returns. And all these returns are beating inflation. Let's look at another example. If you invested $1,000 5 years ago in these, $1,000 in Bitcoin 5 years ago, $46,000. Ethereum, $176,000. Dogecoin, $600,000 plus. So I think you get the point, right? So what a lot of people are doing is they are missing the opportunity because they are waiting for everyone to talk about it and to be hype on the particular crypto or even stock. And where the blessing is doing your research, paying attention, and being focused and learning and seeing what's out there, so that if you do find something, you're not finding it based off of just everyone talking about it. So imagine the people who were able to get into Shiba a year ago or just 6 months ago. We ain't got to go a year. We can just go back to like 6 months. We go back. Look at it. Look at this time. Look. So if they were able to do that, they did it in a time where people weren't talking about it. And that's what you have to understand if you really, really want to take advantage of what's happening in crypto. It's going to be time that you want to work on your side, not overnight. All right. Like I said, if you have a lot of money, a large amount of money that you can invest, then have at it. I'm sure you'll be able to get a return at some point, a good return at some point. But for most people, you're going to have to, let time, and you're going to have to, make sure you're investing consistently if this is something that you're choosing to do. You got to play it smart. All right, now I hope you can kind of understand and see exactly if you're looking to invest, to make sure that you pay attention to your timing. When things are very popular and people are hype and there's a lot of information around it, that's when a lot of people try to now start to make moves, and they're not paying attention when people aren't talking about it. So if we go back just a few months ago, or even just a month ago, you weren't really having any conversations about crypto like that as much, unless you're like within the investing community and you pay attention to these things. And so what happens is a lot of people aren't paying attention. Something happens, somebody dumps a lot of money into something and it goes up, and then people start talking about it, and then that's when their attention gets captured, and they're like, oh, let me put some money in, because they're seeing all of the articles of people who are just making ridiculous amount of money, people who have become millionaires. It's not like it's an excessive amount of people who have become millionaires, but you do have that happening. And so that attracts people. They see the story and they want that to be their story. However, they have to understand, if you want that to be your story, you also have to own the journey of it as well, and paying attention and being timely. Now, understand I do have a lot of, counterpart, fellow financial creators who are talking against cryptos and how, it's risky, you should not invest in it, etc. Well, here's my belief and my opinion. If you watch any videos I've done on crypto, this is my opinion, this is my belief, but it has a lot of truth to it and how things work. So just because you may not believe in something doesn't mean that you shouldn't know about it. Now, what will crypto, or what part will crypto play in the next 10 years? We aren't really certain. You don't know, but it's here. And because it's something that's here, it looks kind of like it might be around for a while. So if it's going to be around for a while, it makes sense to at least, at the very minimum, understand to the best that you can how things work, knowing what's going on, versus being ignorant and be like, I ain't thinking about that. And then find out that you now need it later, or that you would want to know and you're kind of behind on the knowledge when you can take advantage of learning more now. So don't be fooled and let people trip you out, because as many people as they're telling you like, oh, crypto is dangerous, don't invest in it, I can guarantee you more than half of them have some investments in crypto. They're just not telling you. Does that mean you should invest in crypto? I mean, that's totally up to you. You have to make decisions for yourself. However, just at least knowing and understanding and knowing what's coming and not being oblivious or being ignorant to what you will have to face or what will be a part of your life in the future, it's very important. So all you have to do is embrace it and just, at least at the very minimum, just learn about it. So understand the blessing that you have now with being able to get on videos like these, get on YouTube, get on Google and any other platform, and to learn ahead of things. That's a blessing that you might not understand, but you will understand it later if you take advantage and things work out for you. But at the very minimum, like I said, at least having the knowledge around things so you're very well prepared. Remember, being proactive. All right, guys, well, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. So if you have any questions or anything you'd like to talk about in regards to this, feel free to leave a comment. But anywho, I will see you guys on the next video. Y'all have a good one. Be blessed. Peace. Love you.